Hey Fear Minimalist, it's Sophia Lark of thefearminimalist.com, providing trauma recovery tools to help women of color heal their mother wound. Today I'm going to share my 3-step process to help you set solid and consistent boundaries with your mother, so keep watching. For the best trauma recovery tips, tools, and strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you will be immediately notified when I upload new content every single week. If this is your first time joining me today, I am a survivor of mother wound trauma, a licensed professional counselor, a certified clinical trauma professional, helping women of color resolve their mother wound trauma and build resilience. All right, so this 3-step process that I'm going to share with you today, I have used it for many, many years to make sure that I keep my promise to myself, which I call my code of honor, to uphold the relational limits and the boundaries that I deem necessary to have the life that I desire. And this is called the know, say, and do process. The first step is to know your boundaries. Now, knowing what you stand for, that typically comes from the creation or the realization of your values. So what do you value in life? Because boundaries are usually values-based. And so if you value peace or freedom or honesty, family, communication, respect, whatever those essential values are for you, those are the things that are typically going to underlie your boundaries. So for me, one of my biggest values is peace. And so if my mother or anybody for that matter violates my boundary for tranquility and peacefulness and quietness and order in my life, I am able to set the boundary to let them know where I stand. So you're not going to impose your beliefs or your habits or your behaviors into my peaceful space without me saying anything. And so when I know what my boundaries are or my values are, I'm able to set boundaries according to those values. So making sure that I have a peaceful life, that is a sort of a lifelong goal for me. And I wake up in the morning to ensure that that happens. And I'm not saying that everything is always going to be peaceful in my life, but my value, the thing that I value, one of the greatest things that I value is peace. And so my everyday behaviors and habits are geared towards making that happen for me. And anybody who tries to violate that, they're going to get put in their place. I'm going to let you know where I stand and that I have a zero tolerance for drama, for gossip, and intrusion of somebody else's beliefs or behaviors into my life that violates my peace. And the second step is to say what you mean clearly and without ambiguity. This means don't leave any doubt in your mother's mind what you are saying when you're stating your boundaries. What you mean about what you're saying when you're stating your boundaries. Now, this may be tough to do, especially if, I have some clients who say, okay, so I got a problem. So what if my mom is a bully? What if she is so overbearing and so dramatic that with me, I'm a little more passive, and she's just outright intimidating when she starts talking and when she starts making her threats and her demands and that kind of thing. I really want to say what I mean, but when I try, she puts her hand on her hip and said, "What?" And she gives me that look and I'm like, oh. And so here's what I'll say to you if you have a mother like that. If you're not able to say, first of all, let me say this. If you don't have a mother like that, if you are able to say what you mean clearly to your mother, so if you feel uncomfortable about something that she's doing or something she's saying, you can simply say, I'm not comfortable with that, or that's unacceptable to me. Please don't do that again. If you don't have a confrontational, tyrannical mother. If, on the other hand, your mother is what I just described a few seconds ago, where she is very bullying-like and intimidating, I would say the best thing that you can do there is remove yourself from the situation and go and get a therapist who is well-versed in mother-daughter issues, who can work with you on the mindset around that. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get to the point where you can actually confront your mother, because it may be dangerous to do so. But what it will mean is that sometimes there's a mindset issue around saying no. We talk ourselves out of standing up to our mothers because we tell ourselves, well, she's just going to bully me, she's going to intimidate me, or that kind of thing. But sometimes we talk ourselves into it to where we keep that cycle going. Whereas when we work on that mindset issue around that, we realize that sometimes there is this belief that somehow she has the right to talk to you like that because you're her daughter. Well, my mom has the right to, I mean, she's my mom. If it was anybody else, I'd stand up to him. And that is the problem. That's what's maintaining that emotional cycle that's keeping you stuck in the mother womb. And so what I mean is, about when you work with a therapist on this mindset issue, you begin to work on the messages, and I call them, they're false messages or lies that your mother instilled in you. When you start to work on that and you realize that the belief that came to be as a result of that message has become your core belief, you actually believe that about yourself. And you might even say, whatever the message is that your mother instilled in you. And so working on that mindset that's come out of those messages is going to help you create some new beliefs where you're going to say, well, it's not actually true what she says. So maybe I could muster up the courage to stand up to her, or just to let her know that because you are constantly enraged when I bring up the smallest concern or question, this is what I'm going to do. And you can set that boundary with her, and you don't have to do it face to face. You can actually do it over the phone or through a text or whatever, and just let her be. But you're going to have to work on your mindset first, is what I'm saying. So is this making sense to you? Do you think that you would be able to apply some of the steps that I've talked about so far with your mother? Let me know in the comments below. And the third and the final step is to do it. Set the boundary with preparation, confidence, and respect. Now, to be able to do this successfully, you need to have mastered the first two steps: knowing your boundaries and being able to say clearly what you mean, leaving no doubt in your mother's mind what you mean when you're stating that boundary. And as I said before, if you have a mindset issue around that, you're going to have to work on that with a therapist, a mindset coach, some kind of guide who is well-versed in mother-daughter trauma issues and who can help you set those boundaries appropriately and work on that mindset around it first and foremost so you can set the boundary. Because what this does is it prepares you to think about what you're going to say ahead of time, and it actually gives you the confidence to move forward with what you're going to say and what you're going to do in a respectful manner, so that you don't resort to those unhealthy emotional, relational aspects that have maintained that mother wound. Put downs, silent treatment, screaming and yelling, all of that kind of stuff that doesn't do anything for you. So setting yourself up to be able to wisely implement boundaries that are going to help you live the life that you desire is going to require that you master knowing your boundaries first of all, and then being able to say them. And if you are struggling with that, you need to work on the issues that surround why you're not able to set those boundaries and say clearly what you mean to your mother. And so that is basically the three-step process. So now you have a process that you can use to help you set solid boundaries with your mother. And to help you implement this process consistently, be sure to download my free Boundaries Practice Worksheet that you can access by clicking the link below. Also, guys, be sure to join me on social media at Fear Minimalist on Instagram and Fear Minimalist on Facebook, where we can carry on the conversation in more depth about healing the mother wound. Okay, everybody, well, that will do it for today. If you liked this video, hit the like button below, share it with your friends, drop a comment below to start the conversation about what you learned in this video. Maybe if you'd like to see something else that I didn't touch on today, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to engage in that conversation with you. And remember to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. Click the notification bell so that you will be the first to know when I upload new content every single week. And remember that the sun is going to rise and shine bright tomorrow. The question is, are you going to rise with it and allow your best self to shine? I hope you do, and I will see you next time. Bye.